All right, so I got this little propane outdoor fire pit sort of thing. Uh, got it from a friend he got it from his sister who bought it new, said it never worked. She gave it to him. It's been sitting in his garage for, I think he said several years, and asked me to look at it to see if I could get it working for him. This is something I've never fooled with. I have no idea what to expect, so I'll put some propane in it and see if it fires up. If not, we'll see if we can figure out why not. This is the little glass sort of rocks or media that comes with it that you put in the top there. So I'll see if I can get it lit. It looks to be a pretty simple design. Propane tank, and I guess in right here is a regulator going up to the valve which turns it on and up to the burner. The propane that I smell, I don't know where it's coming from, but I don't know. I might first take that burner off the top. Which one to take off first? Boy, those are stuck on there. I think I'm going to get the impact for that. Yeah, that pulls that whole piece out of this thing, so I probably should have taken the other one off just to get that cover off first. I was thinking maybe there was a spider web or something in there and that's blocking the flow, but that looks pretty clear. There's nothing in there, nothing in these vent holes. It might be hard for you to see, but there's nothing clogging that hole coming up from after the valve. I don't know. I'm going to take this. I think the only thing holding it right now on is that on and off knob. Yeah. I'll pull that whole thing out of there. So I'm guessing I could be able to turn this on, try to light it here. And if it doesn't light off of this base in the burner, I'm guessing there's something with the regulator maybe? I don't know. I'll put it down on the ground and see what it does. All right, so I'll turn it on. It's in the light position. Nothing. I'm not smelling the propane now, so I wonder if what I was smelling earlier was not propane. I really don't know what to look at next. I know nothing about these regulators. I don't want to take it apart. I guess I could disconnect this valve and see if I see any blockage down here. But so just to make sure, here's the propane tank that I'm using. It does work. So there is fuel in here, gas, but so I can rule that out. So here's that on and off knob, and it does push in. And if you can see, there's a off, and then I think this is an ignite. It shows a, like a electric sign with the thing, so you can push it in. There is no igniter built into this on and off switch. So I'm wondering, I'm just guessing here, if it's like a pilot light to where you have to hold that in, but even when I was holding that in, I was still not getting any gas to come out of there. So what I did so far is took this cap off of the regulator right here, and inside was this plastic piece and a spring underneath that. The spring goes on top, and then the plastic piece is threaded into the regulator there. I mean, I don't see anything in there. Definitely nothing clogging it that would, I did try to push that regulator down. I did look at some videos on one good one on how a regulator works and how it changes the pressure of the gas depending on what the appliance is it is using. And I don't know if this is working because I don't know if I can. I'm supposed to be able to push that diaphragm down or not, but I can't push it down. I don't know if that spring tension is just that much on there to where you can't do it by hand anyway. I don't want to take too much of it apart because I don't know if it's supposed to. You can tell on one of the, let me find it. So on that little screw there, it's got some red markings on it, and the one on this side doesn't. So, when there's a marking on one screw and not on another, that tells me that, the manufacturer didn't want you messing with it. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong, but that's just what I'm thinking about. But I don't know. I might dig in further and see what I find. So I went ahead and took this valve apart a little more. This is the on-off switch, the on-off dial. The pushing in and out that I was made reference to, sometimes it's like a pilot light or igniter. That's nothing. It's just to hold that, keep that in the off position. There's a little tab cut out. You can see that's where on is. You can turn it, and that's just to keep that. It's like a safety feature just to keep that in the off position. So I don't know if this valve is working or not. It is definitely turning. I can turn, this, which open and close that valve, but I don't know if it's doing anything inside there. And, I can spin it all the way around too. So, I mean, I don't know if this knob was put on wrong, but I turned it several different ways and never got any gas to come out of it. So I don't know. I guess I could dig into a little more. There's definitely nothing. I can't see anything that would be a clog, but I don't know. I'm still gonna dig into it and see if I guess I'll go ahead and take the cover off this regulator, and not that I know what I'm looking at, but I don't know. This only has 3 screws. The other one is just a rivet. So I don't know if, I thought this was going to pivot. Oh, it does. But yeah, if I do that, I'm going to break the darn thing. So I might need to take that. Yeah, that's not going to help me at all. Because I would have to take that whole spring assembly out and everything, and there's a clip in there holding that spring. So this is that little plastic threaded cap, I guess, just to hold that spring on. I don't know if you can see, there's a clip inside there that holds that spring assembly down. And there's just a diaphragm underneath that. I don't know if I want to, I don't even know how to get that clip off of there anyway. I mean, the diaphragm moves. I can't really see it. But I don't know what's on. So I just watched a YouTube video on trying to get some information on this, and I did find nothing about the regulator, but about the valve, and I didn't go far enough. When I was inside here, I got to the inside of this, and I saw the spring and the little this brass thing that turns the valve on and off, and I found out that that can come out. Which, I mean, if anything, it just shows me that it's not clogged, and that's kind of all I wanted to see. And I also get a good indication of where it's open and where it's closed. So this was in the closed position with that cutout for that stem over here on my left-hand side. And when that's like that, you can see the opening, I hope, at the bottom of that valve. And on this brass insert, it's closed. But when it turns, so when it turns and this hole lines up with the opening in the bottom, the gas is allowed to come out the back, which goes in the back of this valve and out the top. And I see nothing to indicate that there's any kind of clog in there. Although I really don't see how. Oh, I see it now. Yeah, so it runs here, and this, I was hoping I could push this little check ball or whatever it is in. but it doesn't. I thought it was springed, but it's not. But so the gas, after it comes in that valve down here, it'll come out to the back of the valve and then go up and flow out into the burner. I see nothing in here that would prevent the gas from flowing in this thing. So my bet is it's somewhere inside this regulator. All right, so while I was editing this video, I realized that the most important part of the video was how I fixed this thing. I didn't record it. Either I didn't push the button or who knows. But so here I'll show you what I'm talking about in the video about this diaphragm. I never even showed it in the video. So there's 3 screws holding this regulator together. And on this one, there wasn't a screw in there. It was like a rivet. I was able to just pop that rivet, and it actually broke. And without getting that out, you wouldn't be able to pivot that on here because of this. The spring fits inside of here. So anyway, here's that diaphragm. And what I think was, this was installed incorrectly from the factory. So when I opened it up the first time, this diaphragm, and I think some of the video shows it, but this was flipped around and it wasn't creating a good seal. I don't know if that was the problem, because after I got this all off, I don't want to take it off now because that clip is a pain in the butt to take off. But it's just taking off that clip. There's a spring and a little plastic piece holding this down, and this diaphragm, if you can see, it fits in that groove in there. And underneath there's just a couple passageways, and through here, I blew them out with air. I never saw anything clogged. I blew them out, put the diaphragm back, and when I was going to put this piece back on, I noticed it wasn't fitting right. So I flipped the diaphragm over, and it fit pretty well after turning it around into that little groove. And that's when I put it back together and it started to work. So I didn't pay attention well enough, but I think that diaphragm was just installed incorrectly from the factory. That's why this thing never worked. All right, back to the rest of the video. I don't know what I recorded and what I didn't. I've just been playing around with this thing for a while. Ended up taking this cap off, took the whole thing apart, diaphragm and everything. There was a plastic piece in there underneath that diaphragm that wouldn't come out of this regulator valve. I just put it back together. Didn't do anything other than take it apart and put it together. And I just tested this, so I know it works, but turned it on. And it works. So, I don't know if you actually saw that. So I will put the whole thing back together, put it on put the burner back on and put it on the fireplace or thing, and I'll see if it works. All right, propane bottle is back in. Let's turn it on. It works.